brute force. If it doesn't work, you're just not using enough. You're listening to SOFREP Radio. Special operations military news and straight talk with the guys in the community.
It's the one and only Floyd Money Mayweather, and today I will be testing out this FightCamp bag. We'll see if it's the real deal. Good workout. Yeah, caught me off guard. I like to see, you can see the punch count. So tell me about mine. I like it. The best thing about the workout is, like I said before, the punch count. That's what I really like. Because now you can see exactly how many punches you are throwing. It pushed me a little bit, got me breathing a little bit. That's what I like, because I haven't been actually working out or doing no running lately. So it got me, I like it.
How'd the bag feel in your head, man? You feel okay?
The bag cool, I ain't worried about that. It's cool, the bag is cool. But the main thing I like, when you can know how many punches a guy is throwing. So it's good. I like this product. Today I had a good workout. It pushed me, You know, actually it's good for a lot of professional fighters.
Hey, what's going on? This is your main man, Rad, with another awesome episode of SOFREP Radio. And you already know who I have on as a guest because you probably read the link and clicked on it and said, let's listen to this episode. But first, before I introduce you to him, I want to talk about the bookstore, right? So we have the SOFREP.com/book-club. Go check that out. There's a lot of good books in there that have been curated by the special operators behind the scenes here at SOFREP.com for our fans and for you specifically. Grow your mind, right? Because it's a muscle. And you can go to the gym and you can do all these things for the outside of your body, but on the inside, you should read some books. So go check out the SOFREP.com/book-club. Also, our merch store. We've got lots of merch. It's the time of getting merch. All the time is getting merch. Go check out SOFREP.com/merch, or as my producer Callum, maybe he could put it right here like this, or maybe like this, shop.sofrep.merch. Go check out our merch store and pick up some of that cool concepts that Brandon Webb and all those guys are making behind the scenes. Awesome merch. Now, my next guest comes from a background of breakdancing as a younger, moving around to Toronto, trying to finish his master's degree in micro electrical mechanical systems, and also a founder of joinfightcamp.com. And I want to welcome Khalil Zahar and Jack Good, who's also here with us. So welcome to the show.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Hey, you're welcome, Khalil, and thanks for being here, Jack. And so, Khalil, as I was talking, welcome to SOFREP.com. I know that I love to go boxing all the time, and I'm always talking about it on my show. Every time I get ready to do an episode with a guest, I'm always like, hey, I just got back from the gym, talk about it on the show. I go to the gym, and you have created something that I'm interested in that I wanted to bring to my listener and my viewer who are looking for a healthy lifestyle change, a positive mental health challenge, just doing something outside the norm. And I find boxing and its cardio and its calisthenics and everything just to be, spot on. And you have focused, I'm going to assume, a lot of your life to this sport.
Yeah, so the story actually comes back when I was 21 years old. I discovered boxing actually quite late in terms of like starting a sport that you fell in love with. So I started when I was 21, and it was one of those sports that I kind of always thought was a little bit out of reach, where it was like, you kind of have it or you don't type of sport. And I think a lot of people feel that way with martial arts, actually, like at the beginning, given like a little bit more, it's kind of like brutal nature and how much it's intimidating at first. But when I joined that gym, I was kind of blown away of how much, it isn't a question of just like who hits the hardest and who's able to just like eat as many punches as they can. But there's an insane amount of technique. There's a beauty in the sport and an elegance that is really, you can work on martial arts for 20 years and still have a lot to learn. So it just pulled me in very much so. My background was, you said it, like I actually did a lot of breakdancing. Actually, this is where I met some of my co-founders, which is pretty funny. Growing up, I played a lot of soccer. So team sports was kind of my thing, and this was kind of the first individual sport that I engaged in. And all I was doing for a good 4 years was basically go to the lab, and I was finishing my research in engineering. At the same time, at night I would just go to the gym. Fast forward, a couple years, and I'm trying to understand how to measure myself.
Yeah.
Because I felt like, at the gym it was becoming a little bit too subjective for me, where it's
monotonous. You're like, where's the change? It's like, why am I going to the gym? I'm not. So I deal with body dysmorphia. Okay. And so that's where, I always am looking at myself. I go to the gym nonstop, almost like 5-7 times a week. And then, I'm in the gym, or if I'm doing weights, I'm always like pulling my shirt up. I'm always pulling up my sleeves. So when I do my presses like this, I can kind of see, the muscles moving, and I try to focus on that because I'd like to see the gains, but as I start to look, I can start seeing the gains, from boxing. Like right here, as I show you my forearm, you can start seeing just like definition. And then I start seeing like right here on my wrists, you can start seeing the veins start to protrude from all of the working that you do with all of the punching, right? So a lot of people have a right hand, they're right-handed, and if they look, they can see their vein that's right here, really, because that's their main hand. But now I've got it starting to pop up on my left from all of my jabs, bro. All my jabs, all my crosses, all my sevens, all my over the tops, So I totally find the gym to be something I'm not looking forward to going to, but once I'm there, I'm totally happy to get my ass kicked in the gym.
Yeah. No, that's a love-hate relationship for a lot of people until it becomes a love-love relationship. But I think at the beginning, for everyone just starting to exercise, it's always like, like the hardest part is putting your shoes on and then
getting out of bed
on your way. Yeah,
and that's why every Instagram. So I journal myself on Instagram. I always take a picture in the mirror and the day's session of what we did on the chalkboard, and I put them together. And it's just for me to go back and say, I did this. I showed up. Hashtag showed up. It's like people come in there and they maybe punch the bag half of class, but I'm like, that's fine. You showed up. Okay, those extra punches you did this morning at 55 years old. Bro, that matters, okay? Because it was the difference between going to the gym and not going to the gym. And so, I'm totally excited to have this conversation because you made a product that you can actually have at your house.
Right.
So you don't have to like stress so much about getting in the car, driving through the snow, being on time for the 8:30 session in the morning, 6:30 a.m.
That's right.
I go to people, I'm like, how come you're here at 5:30 in the morning and you're already ready to punch and like do burpees and you're ready to go at 5:30 in the morning. I'm getting there at 8:30 and I'm still like, bro, I'm still cracking my neck.
I mean, I'm the same, man. Like some people are morning people. Jack is a morning person. For me, I literally would rather work out at night than like at 5 in the morning. The only thing is when you do it, you feel so good for the rest of the day. It's like the hardest task, was done. But Jack, I don't know. You gotta tell us your secret.
Sets the tone for the day, baby. You got to get up and get it in,
I can agree with that because as soon as I'm done and it's like 9:30 in the morning before I do my podcast, usually at 10 a.m. That's why I set these up for like 10 a.m., right? And so it's like, I get home and I'm like, I already made my bed before I left. So my wife hasn't made bed when she gets home from work. And I went to the gym and I've punched the bag, like, nonstop 1s and 2s for a solid minute, nonstop 3s and 4s. That's at the gym I go to. We use a number combination. And so, I would love to check out your system and actually, put that on and see what it can tell me about myself. Like I mentioned, looking in the mirror, am I seeing change? I guess what I find to be the thing about consistency is consistency doesn't show up. Consistency is showing up. You know, so it's like, oh, I'm so consistent. I don't see it, but yet I'm so consistent that I don't see it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Like like you're so consistent with it that it's micro changes. You're constantly evolving. You don't really pick up on the big changes. Like someone has to see you maybe like a couple months apart to read. Like at the end of the day,
that's exactly what happened at the gym. This lady comes up to me. She's like, "Yo, Rad, you're looking slimmer." And I was like, "Yeah." I said, "Thanks." You know, I hadn't seen her like 2 months in the gym, different class schedules, and then she was in my same session. She's like, "Oh, you're looking slimmer," and I was like, "Hey, there's that."
Yeah.
What I needed to hear, probably.
Yeah, like and with our coaches, we talk. Obviously, we talk a lot to our to our customers and members and try to help them out with their journey, and almost unequivocally, the people that really just go in with exercise just looking for the gains, like we're all looking for the gains ultimately, it's at the back of all of our minds, but the ones that fail is the ones that are so focused on the gains that it's all that matters. Because unfortunately the body doesn't respond quickly to changes. Like it's gonna take time, and like anywhere below 3 months is just a timeline that like you'll get impatient with and you'll end up quitting. The people that do the best are the ones that want to incorporate exercise in their lifestyle because of the practice. They're just looking to now never stop working out again. And that's a much stronger mindset. Like if you go into, I just want to be this version of myself, but that will always work out. It's a way more, successful journey for most people. Like you'll fall off the wagon every now and then, but you're more so building this world of you and you who exercises constantly. So like, you approach the practice of exercise in a much more like healthy way. Like it's not like you're not becoming impatient or angry that you're having a bad session, because bad sessions are, they're part of the game. Like everyone has bad days at the gym.
And you know what I was going to say, Khalil, is that I look around when there's everybody in the class, and we really don't have a lot of conversations with each other. Everybody's just at their bag, ready for the instructor to give the commands of what we're supposed to do, and the coach is coaching us. And I feel that everybody hits the bag for a different reason. Everybody is in there with their own inner thoughts, own demons, own divorces, whatever's going on in their head. They're just sitting there hitting that bag and just trying to do be the best version of themselves, still showing up. Even if it's a rough day, you're like, I just got to show up.
That's right.
And like you said, falling off the wagon, to me, that's like, I missed 2 days. I'm like, I fell off the wagon. I go back to class, I'm like, does anybody notice Rad's been out for like the last 2 days or on a trip, to some place that doesn't have the gym I need to go to? So I got to come up with my own regiment. And it's hard for me to not have a coach. I enjoy sports, baseball, coaches, someone like, hey, yo, Rad, why don't you get down on it? Hey, turn your hips. My coach comes walking by. I think I'm doing great. He's like, Rad, turn into it. And I look at him like, psh, all right, turn into it, I'm like, who you talking to, man? Let's get in the ring. But he's right. He's like, more hip, on my twos. Like, just get that right in there. They just want me to not box. They want me to knock the guy out. You see? And I don't want to have to do cardio in the ring. I would rather just walk up and just be like, pop, pop. Are you good? Are you going to live? Okay, bye.
Yeah. No, I mean, the aspect of coaching obviously is very precious. There's nothing like having someone that you respect and that is better at this than you are, that guides you through this process. And that's the reason why, for us, like at the beginning, when we started, it was only a technology that you put on your wrist to know how much performance you're doing in the gym. That was like, okay, like the runners have Strava or like other apps that they can monitor how fast they're running and how long they're running. Martial artists have nothing. And, we want to come up with a way that we can actually measure our performance outside of just entering the ring, to your point. Because first of all, not everyone, wants to enter the ring.
Right.
And the second part is, even as a fighter, you shouldn't enter the ring every day and get hit on the head. It's just not
Right.
good for you. So like all this other time that you put outside of the ring, which is where really like progress happens a lot, you know. It also happens in the ring, but it happens definitely, you know, I would argue majority outside of the ring, yeah. And you know, like what happens with that part? Well, you know, the mentality of boxing historically and martial art has just been, listen, man, push through. Just like it's a combat against your own mind, and just keep pushing through. So you just, you know, it's great, but in 2025 and us being in this day and age, like there's also other ways to make sure that you are pushing yourself hard enough and that you're also progressing. Because if you're just putting a lot of time and you're not progressing, that's very demotivating. So we came up with these tools that basically these small trackers the size of your thumb, you put them on your wrist, you wrap your hands around it, and it tracks it, all of your motions. It parses it into a motion algorithm, which is basically an AI algorithm, and tells you the type of punch you threw, the speed of them, and the power of them.
No kidding.
And basically we created classes on top of that for specifically coaching. So that's like, this was a long time coming. Basically like the first version of the company was like 3 years all the way until 2018. Then 2018 we added the classes, and now we have kind of, you know, top LA coaches that come build the class for you where you have the exact combination you need to throw, and then you have your metrics on top of it. And the reason why people resonate with it is because they have guidance.
Yes.
You know, and they're not just like having a bag in their basement and then trying to just hit it.
Right, do the combo, because like when you're being coached at the gym and my coach is like, we're gonna do 1-5-4 slip 3-2 slip 3-2. For me, as someone who is trained by the coach, I can repeat those sequences, punch in the bag. But for me as the fighter, if I'm to tell myself that at the bag, sometimes I go blank at the bag. Have you ever gone blank? You're like, what was the code? And the coach is like 3-2-4-2 rad. And I'm like, oh yeah, pop, 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 pop. Because you just kind of like get this like, maybe in my own mind I just got punched and I'm like dazed. I'm like, what was I doing? What am I doing at this bag right now? Why am I sweating so much? You know, it's like, why did I just forget the sequence? Which, you know, A, helps you for your mental cognizance, you know, your overall health. You know, I keep joking in the class, like, don't worry guys, I'm 48, I'm just fighting Alzheimer's right now. Okay, I'm trying to stay cognitive in here. You know, the coach is like, all right, we're gonna do 1, 3, 2, slip, 3, step, 4, 5, step, slip. And me personally, I go 1, 3, 7, 2, 5, 2, 5, 5. So I'm always repeating the sequence.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And I mean, like what you just described actually is why actually. You know how they say martial arts and mindfulness really go hand in hand together compared to other sports. And you know, so for example, there's a lot of people who run and they have this problem, especially like in like, you know, highly stressful jobs and top executives, where they're like, running, if I do that, my mind keep racing. Like I keep racing, like I can run for an hour and it's great, I get the physical benefits and stuff, but the problem is, you know, I can't really shut down that voice while I'm running because I'm getting a little too comfortable, and now I start living either in the past or the future and so forth. With martial arts, you don't have the time to do it. And like you know, there's actually Mark Zuckerberg who you know, started to do MMA about like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. The founder of Facebook, the CEO of Facebook, and he gets interviewed and he's like, why suddenly the change? Like, you know, nobody knew that, you know, you're an MMA fan. And like, there's all these memes, you know, of like Zuckerberg coming in as part of like a fighter walking in. I don't know if you guys saw that. And like, you know, he's very not used to the, to like the environment, and people are like passing on like towels, and he just like puts his hand right next to the towel and just like looks a little bit out of place and whatever. Trying to be a part of it though. He's trying to be in place. Exactly. He's there. Like, yeah. And like, you know, he explains to the interviewer, he's like, martial arts is really the only thing that was allowing me to actually turn my brain off for a second. Like, I tried everything else. and like my mind would still wander, and I wouldn't be able to get a hold of my stress level because of that. And like God knows this guy is always under insane amount of pressure. So martial arts to him was specifically the reason, because he would get challenged, and like you miss out your combination once, you know, like let alone in the ring, like even just in a class, and you'll be like, okay, I'm losing track of this class right now. So like it keeps you focused, and the fact that it keeps you focused makes you present, and because you're present now, whatever your mind goes from the past to the future, it's focused on the moment, and that just gives your system, your nervous system, a break. And that's why like people come out of there and they're like, dude, like I feel at peace, you know?
Yes, there is, and there's a switch that gets turned on. Like, you know, I was going to the gym once every other day. You know, I was like, I'm gonna do 3 times a week, and I was just like, I'm missing Tuesday's class and Thursday's class. I'm going Monday, Wednesday, Friday. There's like, I'm always doing upper. I'm always like doing lifts. It's like I'm missing a class. So I started going to the days I was missing, and I was like, oh, okay, so now we're working on lower. Now we're working on upper. Now we're working on lower. Now we're working on upper. And pretty soon I'm just like, oh, today's class. And it just becomes this normal thing. So I just, let's say I started June 2 years ago. It's been 2 years this June that I've been going to the gym, and I'm at 461 classes logged. You know,
amazing.
And 70 days on the ski season each season. So that's 140 days in addition to the 460 days that I'm in the gym working out. And so when I'm in the gym doing these types of, you know, exercises we're going to talk about that your system can provide, it's like I'm doing squats, I'm doing lunges, I'm doing, you know, burpees. We're doing all of these calisthenics, and the whole point is my core. I want my core to be as strong as I can, so when I strap my snowboard bindings on, I can bend over, first of all, okay? It's like bending over and strapping up, right? If you try to bend over on a snowboard, you cut off your diaphragm. You're like, and you're at altitude. You're like, I just want to strap my bindings on. So there's so much that I put into boxing and into these martial art type, you know, activities, other than just other than just learning another skill set of boxing, you know, it's for snowboarding. So I have this ulterior motive of staying strong all year long until the snow hits, and then I can go up to the resort. Just rode a couple days ago, and I told my wife, you know, I feel great. I said, my legs don't feel tired. We just shredded a whole bunch of laps, hit some boxes in the park, and I attribute that to, my skill set of riding since 93, but also I've been staying the course of positive working out consistently. And when I go and talk to my doctor, he's like, Rad, so let's do your checkup. I'm like, yeah, doc, what's up? He's like, how you doing on working out? And I'm like, 6 times a week. And he looks at me, he's like, 6? I'm like, 5? You want me to say 5 times a week? Is it too much? You know, and I tell myself, am I doing too much? And he's like, no, I'm happy that you're doing that, right? Because I was going to tell you, you need to do at least like an hour a day of some type of heart-raising exercise. And I'm like, I'm already doing that. So he's like, hey, okay, you're fighting off the heart demons.
Yeah. Now, I mean, and you know, snowboarding or like even like any type of extreme sport, I think will also have the same benefit, you know, because like you don't, when you're going down those slopes, like it's not like
don't die.
Yeah, you know, like there's real consequences to being out of it. So like it works.
Yeah, go toe side on a cliff, dude. You know, and then having my wife follow me because she's like, I trust you, Rad. I'm following my husband through the trees and through all these things. And I come up to this cliff and I stop real quick like that. I'm looking around. I'm like, okay, she's following me. Let's go down this way, you know, or this way. And I'll be like, no, don't go this way. She's like, it's too late. I'm like, oh, shit. but you know, being able to be in the moment and physically and mentally aware of my surroundings is also what I find from boxing and martial arts. I'm just like, I feel a little taller when I walk around, you know?
100%. Like, you know, like in our company, like, had like a lot of stress associated with it, like especially like, you know, positive stress at times, but also negative stress too. Like it's a stressful job generally to run a company. So I started getting this executive coach about 6 years ago, where we meet twice a month, and this is really like, you know, they teach you a lot about like, okay, listen, this is how like experienced CEOs manage this situation and this and that. But there's also a whole other part that is pretty much like having a shrink there with you, and they're just like helping you introspect and understand, like, you know, okay, hey, listen, this is where your mind is going to start play games with you and this and that. And I remember asking him, like, yeah, like, you know, what are you seeing as a, you know, as someone who's coaching a bunch of CEOs around? And he's like, yeah, like, there is a pattern, because we're talking about my mental health, and, you know, I was like, listen, I was never a stressed guy, but for some reason now I actually have a hard time kind of like getting it under control. And he was like, it's a very common thing. And the problem is when the founders are not really, you know, guided properly, they start having different means to try to shut it down. And, you know, there's basically two different patterns. Either they get a hold of their, you know, health, where they start doing same thing. They'll start to do snowboards, and some of them will go all the way crazy, like, you know, they'll do you know, parachute jumping and, like, you know, skydiving.
I was gonna say skydiving, yeah.
Yeah, like whatever basically, like, you know, gives them this edge of like turning it off.
Yeah.
The problem is the other side is, you know, some people start using drugs and just being always like kind of numb. And he's like, a lot of people refer to these guys as like adrenaline junkies and stuff, but it's a coping mechanism for stress. And there's a version of it where you actually become, you know, like a healthier human being that definitely need their outlet, you know, and hopefully you do it safely in a way that, like, you check your parachute and making sure that, you know,
right,
like everything is under control. But it's a much healthier way, you know, to do like sports or extreme sports than to just, you know, go and whatever, start basically numbing yourself. But the end result is that you basically are able to stop to be present. And, you know, problematically, drugs do the same thing. You know, it's like, yes,
sure,
like it'll make you forget it'll make you turn off this inside, you know, non-stop mind racing process. The problem is, you know, there's very much long-term consequences to it. But like,
correct,
the outcome is the same. So you can basically decide to start finding your outlet, whether it is martial arts or whether it is extreme sports or whether it is whatever it is that allows you to kind of like be here and give your nervous system a break. Or, you know, another option that is the worst option is to basically start using substances. So like, right, that was a very interesting, you know, insight for me.
And that's very real in our community here at SOFREP. You know, there's a lot of people that go to our Veterans Administration Hospital. They get out of the military, and the Veterans Administration Hospital is like, here, take some of these pills. You know, these pills, not that I'm saying they're all bad for you, et cetera, but some of them can have these long-lasting effects. And, you know, lithium can change a person, you know? It's like you're not going to be wanting to do anything at all. You're just going to be like, oh, right, I'm not depressed. I'm not even myself. Everyone's like, what happened to Bill? You know, why is Bill so not social? Right. And what happened, you know? It's like me going to the gym, I feel like I get those same endorphins, you know, that I'm looking for, I'm chasing, and I feel good. And my wife's like, you know, what's your motivation? And I looked at her and I said, Julie in my class does it, and so I have to do it. And she's like, you know, we're doing burpees, and Julie in the class, she's like, you know, working on herself, and she's doing burpees and jumping and going back down, and I'm like, I cannot let Julie beat me. I have to continue to do this. And my wife's like, that's right. Okay, whatever your motivation is, you know, whether it's, you know, someone else in classes doing a great job and I just want to be like that person, you know. Or honestly, I find that females are a better boxer than a guy. I think their hips are better. I think that their lefts and their rights and their hooks are better. I find that, you know, there's just a lot more that is just way more interesting to figure out, you know.
They're just better students. They're just usually better students at everything.
Yeah, you know, and so I'm like, you know, I've seen a 120-pound female fight a 120-pound guy in sparring, and she whooped him.
Yeah.
That changed my whole, like, men and women in sports. I'm like, if she's 5'5" and he's 5'5", and she's 120 and he's 120, what are we arguing about in the boxing ring?
Right.
You know?
No, I mean, like, it's as much of, you know, level playing field as you can have any sport. It's like it's like, okay, let's see who physically wins this gladiator match.
She
So,
did. This
yeah.
girl I'm talking about in my mind right now, she's just like, she had no problem like sizing him up and pop, 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 you know, giving him the 1-2s. And the dude's head, I was just like, bro, I was like, you don't want to watch this on video.
we have like 3 of our trainers who are females. Like we have 3 males and 3 females, and you know, like I would not want to get into a fight with our female trainers. Like one of them just like did her 1FC debut. She's a badass. Her name is Selena Flores, and yeah, like, and it's funny we were talking about this because like it seems like there's a pretty strong pattern with the girls. Like when they go in the ring, they bruise more for some reason. I don't know exactly, because it's like maybe our facial structure is like different, where you know their skin gets a little bit more prone to breaking, but they come out of those fights, man, like looking like savages, you know, like straight up.
I'm telling you,
Braveheart looking, you know, like blood everywhere. And they'll literally tell the commentator like, yeah, I enjoyed every second of it, like it was a great fight. And I'm like, man, you guys are savages. But
savage. We have this these fights here, Executive Fight Night, and then we have FightCon that happens here in Salt Lake City. And I'm the MC, so I have a tuxedo on, you know, the whole 9 yards. I'm like, ladies and gentlemen, out of the blue corner, you know, so and so, out of the red corner, and they come out with their fight song. And you know, we've been having more and more female battles. And so I'm just sitting ringside watching it, you know, as the MC, and I'm sitting right next to the person that hits the bell, ding, the referees and everything. And it's just like, man, they're going at it. And I'll look at the ref and we'll just nod. We're just nodding at each other like, bro, they're just like, you know. I want to say, though, if you're a coach, please be vocal to your fighters in the ring and just holler at them, okay? Because, like I said, you go blank on the bag, and when the coach is like, yo, Rad, if I see a coach that's just sitting idle behind in the corner, relying on the fighter to do the whole job, you got to be like, hey, give me 1-2, 1-2. Hey, slip 1-2. Something, yell at them because they hear you.
Yeah.
You're their, you know, dog whistle. Give it to them.
Yeah.
That's just, and your device kind of does that, right? It gives you that, hey, keep going, right?
It's definitely like, you know, I don't think it can ever replace like a coach in a moment of a fight where, like, you know, like literally your life is actually on the line. But between the alternatives that you have, right? So like, especially for us, for our customers, it's like they don't have necessarily the time, or they don't have a good gym around them that they feel like they want to go to.
Right.
So, you know, our product is like, okay, you're going to get A+ instructions and how to motivate yourself, because you're not going to have like coaches around you that will like literally like, you know, scream at you and tell you what you're doing wrong. The technology fills that void where it's like, okay, as soon as the round starts, you have a specific amount of strikes that you have to throw. And now we're actually have this new feature where like you have to do the combination right. Otherwise, you don't get the points associated with it. So it's basically like having a coach that does mitts with you and tell you like, no, you didn't do the combination right, do it again. So like between, you know, like hitting the bag alone by yourself, where, you know, it's, if you're a trained fighter and you have all this like, you know, world that you can build in your brain around 6 rounds on the bag, okay, fine, but a lot of people don't, right? And even if people can, it's more engaging to actually like have another member as your opponent, which is one of our features. Like you can do a versus mode where it can be me versus you, right? So it's like, okay, you send me a workout that you've done, and then I have your result on and basically like a ghost run like Mario Kart. So I have your run here, and it's the same workout that we do together. And I can challenge myself with you and you know, being like, okay, like I'm gonna try to be Rad, and then like I send that back to you, and then we go back and forth. Yeah.
Let's
so
go. Let's go. You hit, I hit. Let's go. Let's do it. I love it. And so does it tell me my pounds per square inch of my pressure that when I'm hitting the bag as well? Like if you're looking at my ghost track rec, you know, if it's gonna fight you, if I'm fighting you through the app, do you see how hard I hit on those punches?
You do. You basically, we created our own scale. So it's a scale between 1 to 15. So every time that you throw a punch, you'll see that number, basically like come out. It's literally like a video game. Like every time that you'll throw a punch on the bag, you'll see like say you threw a hook, say +6, and that goes to your total output score, which basically is like total damage inflicted. So every punch, you basically have their power as you hit it, and you have the opponent's punches as well. So like, if you unleash on the bag, you'll see that number go up faster, and then you'll see like a little like +10 float to your score. So like you're a lot more focused on that and doing the combo right. These are like kind of like your two, and like sometimes the combos, they involve like, burpees. Like it'll be like, 1, 2, 3 burpee. So you have to throw 1, 2, 3. You'll see your output go up, and then you have to clear out that burpee, and then you start again.
Please keep talking more.
And there's
except the burpees, bro. I'm just but I'll tell you something. When I started going to the gym 2 years ago or so, 2.5 years now, I wasn't doing burpee. I could not pop out a burpee. And I was just like, I'm not going to do this. And it kind of like hit me with that, like, that first 3 months of like, but I knew that if I just kept doing it and showing up for myself and showing up for myself and showing up for myself. Mm-hmm. And now it's like, we're going to do 3 sets of 10 burpees, 3, sets of prison push-ups, 3 sets of this. And I'm just like grunting inside myself, but I get down and I do it, and now I look at myself, I'm like, hey, I just did 30 burpees over the last 5 minutes. And before I was doing like 1 a minute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, like that. And we have these drills that basically you retake every month or so. So you take the same drill. You know how like CrossFit have like very specific drills that they do? Like there's, they're famous for doing this drill called Murph on Memorial Day. It's like what the whole CrossFit community will do. And I think it's like something about
2 miles.
Yeah. Like you're running with a vest, and I don't remember the exact distance, whatever. But you're able to measure yourself against everyone who takes that same drill. We have the same concept in martial arts, where we have these drills. You take them periodically, and they're mixed of body weight as well as boxing or / striking related programming. And as you take them again and again, you're able to see your score evolve, and this is how you're like, okay, like this is, I am definitely like able to keep up with this drill better than I could before. And then we have these monthly challenges where it's like, okay, this month, if you want to be bronze, platinum, silver, etc., you basically have a hierarchy of badges that resets every month. And that's like, another measure that our members use to be like, what? Usually I can only clear the bronze. After a couple months, I would like to clear the silver. I would like to get to gold and platinum, hopefully. Yep. And like you have a community online of people that just share the results and support each other.
No, I love that. And this is all found at your website, joinfightcamp.com, right? So if our listener wants to go and check that out, they can check out joinfightcamp.com. And, it's going to have interactive. I'm looking at the website right now. You've got a system. You've got the ability to check out your results. Inspire the fighter within. The FightCamp system is an interactive learning module and with a la carte workouts. I'll tell you right now that working with my own son, I take him swimming all the time, and we try to do I still do boxing in the pool. Okay, so I take him to the pool, and then after we do our 15 laps, I'm like, all right, now it's time for us to do our boxing. So we'll do nonstop 1s and 2s in the water, nonstop 3s and 4s in the water, nonstop 4s and 5s, the whole 9 yards for at least a good 10 minutes so that he keeps it going. And to have the ability to do that here would just help me. I can say, hey, man, let's just wrap up right here. Let's just get this done. I don't have to necessarily take you to the gym membership. I can give you what I've been learning at the gym here and maybe save $1 on the membership, and I'll still go to the gym, and I can still use this to track it. And I wonder if my gym would like this to track their fighters. You know what I'm saying? Like this, Can this be applied to the gym? Like, can you put these all in the gym and like everyone's got them in their wrist straps and we're all like...
That's funny you talk about it. It's a product we're basically reviving this year in 2026. So when we started, we basically built this version of our product for people that went to the gym and just wanted to track their performance. Then we came up with this gym concept, and then we came up with this home concept. We decided to focus on the home concept because this is where we had really, the most traction. And we're at this point where now we actually want to go outside of just home fitness and incorporate these products into people that go to the gym. So the idea for what you're talking about is people would have their own pairs of trackers. They would go to the gym. The trainer would basically advertise a session on the Wi-Fi. So you connect to the Wi-Fi, you connect your own profile to the Wi-Fi. And then whenever the trainers press start, then you have a big screen TV that has everyone's names and results on it. And they basically reset every time they do either a round or a new exercise. So you're able, even though as you're taking just a class and nobody's hitting each other, you're still able to have a friendly competition in the class. And that just motivates a lot of people to, try to like score high, and you can have like rewards on top of it and blah, blah, blah. So like it creates a bit of a gamified tool for people to not only measure their progress over time, but also, have friendly competition and motivate themselves.
So that's a great concept to have. It's going to complement it. The gym. It's just that's very cool, and they're just going to fit inside of my wraps, right? It's just going to fit right inside. So I'll just wrap it up. If it's tight, I can just get it in there, get it underneath where I Velcro, and it should just sit right there. So every time I'm moving my fists, then it should just track all of that. So will it tell me if my coach says I want 100 ones and twos? It's like.
That's right.
You only did 98.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like they can use it as an accountability tool. They can use it as and like picture how much like it can actually because like who counts every single punch they throw? Like it literally you lose. Let's just you probably lose track of them given how many punches you throw. And then not every punch is created equal. So like when you tell your whole class, like, okay, give me 100 punches, some people will throw hard punches, some people will throw weaker punches. With our tech, you can say, okay, like we want 100 punches, but with a minimum power of X.
Yes.
So then it's like, okay, now I can literally give you 100 hard punches, medium punches, whatever, weak punches if you're just doing speed or etc.
Right.
So you can
because sometimes the coach is like, look, I don't want power. He's like, I just want you guys touching it like just like pap, 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 and always bring it back to your face, always bringing your hands back to your face. It's got to like keep your guard up, right? And one thing though I get harassed about by friends that know I box is they always want to like square up with me, but then they like pull out a knife. They pull out a knife or a gun, and they're trying to kick me, and I'm like, it's not self-defense, right? It's like I'm here to beat you down in a boxing ring, right. Hopefully if I get into a fight, I can step off the X with a pivot. You know what I mean? Like boom, you just watch you fall down like water. You know what I'm saying? Like water. They always want to square up to me though, bro. It's because I'm 6'5" and I'm 280, and I'm like, you want to square up? This is what you need to square up with me, right here. And nobody's got enough of that. Nobody's got enough of that. Okay, show me the money. Okay? You want to square up with me, bro? Show me the money. Let's go, dude. I tell you what.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, please. I was just like, I tell you what. That's like, I'm like a cowboy.
I was so like, GSP. You know Georges St. Pierre?
Yeah, Georges St. Pierre.
Yeah.
He's the MMA fighter.
Yeah, that's right. Like, a Hall of Famer, UFC fighter, and was one of, in my opinion, probably in one of the most competitive eras of MMA. And anyway, he's one of our investors, and I got to spend a little bit of time with like his coaches and stuff. And how much like there's so many memes out there. Not even like, I don't even know if they're memes, but they're more so kind of like reels of these martial arts coaches who like they're like, attack me with this knife, and then they'll slowly put this guy down with some really technique
with
that
wind.
Is unrealistic. With wind, exactly, with energy and chi.
Yes.
And anyway, the coach of Georges St. Pierre, Khalil Zahar, who's like really, really like, famous coach in MMA. He's like, man, like we used to do this thing 15 years ago or like 10 years ago, and we would bring these guys who claim they can absolutely, control like a knife battle, and we did it with a marker. So they would give these guys a marker, and they were like, okay, like try to hit me with this marker, and he's like, none of these techniques ever was actually
preventing
like,
them from striking.
Yeah. They're like, like in a real fight where like full speed and full power is there. It's like the amount of demystifying of some of these techniques is like, we just do it with a marker, and it's like, if you're able to like put a black mark on your gi, you already know that would have been your stomach there, or your liver, or whatever.
You've been sliced. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But no, there's certain, there's obviously martial arts that are helping you deal with those types of situations. But in terms of like what you see on the internet and what works, is like, it's very easy to demystify. Just get a marker and see who's able to not get marked, and it's like,
the great George Foreman is who I kind of look up to when I go to the gym. I'm just thinking like, there's a clip of him, and the bell hits, and both fighters start walking towards the middle, and he just uppercuts the dude, and the dude just drops, just like boom, just like one uppercut. And I was like, that's my coach. I want to be that. I want to learn just the one punch uppercut, knock him out. I don't even want to have to run no more. I don't want to bounce around the ring. I don't want to have to move around. Let's not even break a sweat, okay? Let's just get that one punch in there. I mean, holy cow, man. And George Foreman, mind you, he won the world championship at 46 to 48 years old. Now, I see a lot of us, I'm in the gym, and like you said, in the beginning, you were 21. You're like, I wish I was doing this younger. I wish I wasn't chasing it at such an older age at 21, to get into boxing. I've been doing it for 2.5 years now, and I'm like, why was I not doing this when I was 15?
Right.
Where would I be today if I was doing this at 15, bro? I'd be like, oh man. So I'm still in the gym thinking I can go pro. Like my mind, us guys, for some reason, we think we can still go pro at 60. We're like, oh, I'm just going to maybe go pro ping pong player pro, something pro, I'm going to be a pro snowboarder still. I'm like in my head. So in the gym, I'm still hitting the bag. Like my coaches, of course, when they walk away, I'm kind of like tap, tap, tap. When they come over, it's like smack, 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 but I'm pretty much high intensity the whole time I'm hitting the bag. I want to see sweat all over the floor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. No, I mean, like, when I was going to the gym, like, in sparring, like, 4 times a week, and like, I don't think I'll ever get back to this level of shape. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say never, because everything's possible. And I'm 38. Like, it's still technically it is within my reach if I really want to. It's just there's also like, obviously, time and intensity and testosterone and how much like is going on in my body.
And what lane you've chosen. You got your own blinker on, your own ride of life. It's like, what lane are you getting into, bro? You exiting? Right. You get, you
gotta go, yeah. Like you definitely don't have the same approach. It's like I have to go to work tomorrow morning, not necessarily trying to get my ass kicked today in the gym, but anyway, like there's definitely like. Probably the moment that I was in my life, like the most, closest version of my warrior self I've ever been in, mentally and physically. It makes you like walk around with a warrior mindset that, you're applying to really everyday life. Like you don't necessarily need this full warrior mindset in, but you just start applying it with like everything you try to accomplish. And I was very focused on my goals, and it's still, still to this day, I think like a practice of like, it's almost like food for my inner warrior. That's why we always say like, you're, awaken your inner fighter, awaken the fighter within, because we think there's there's always a fighter within, like you said, like you think you can still go pro. Even at 47.
48, yeah, exactly. Thanks, 48, but thanks, 48. I appreciate that. I'm embracing it. The more gray I get in my beard, the more I embrace it. I would say that, something like that at home, other than just the weights and like learning how to do some yoga poses and things like that, having that system, the FightCamp system is something that would be just, a good thing to have, right? And there's a lot of people who are going to be making resolutions to themselves. I choose any day to make a resolution, but if it's a New Year's resolution, a new year, a new you, you're trying to think about how you're going to better yourself in the upcoming time. You're like, I need to cut out all the soda. You're like, I want to cut out whatever. Well, if you apply the gym to your life or working out, you might get away with a little bit of what your diet is inside of you, but I guess you can't run from your diet. That's the thing I've learned, is you cannot outrun your diet. No matter how many times you're in the gym, if you're eating like crap, if you're doing crap, drinking crap, you think it's healthy, but it's not healthy. It's full of sugars and things like that. And I'm not a doctor. I could just play one on TV. But for now, I would just say that, it's all about what you put into yourself and what you give yourself. You got to spoil yourself. Take care of yourself.
No, and so the one thing is, when people look at this stuff and they're like, okay, for example, this is a great example. If I go to the gym, I can afford a little bit of junk food, for example.
Right.
But the reality of it, it's kind of not how the brain works. The more you engage in exercise, the easier it is to actually stay disciplined with your food. So these things start having an impact on each other very quickly, because it's just psychologically what happens. Like, you literally go to the gym once or twice for the first time. Let's say you start this week. You go to the gym first time and second time, I can promise you'll check your food 2 times more that week.
Oh, yeah.
And basically, it's not like completely separate decisions. Because you engage in one decision, it starts affecting your motivation to do this other good decision for you. So you're almost kind of tricking your brain, and it becomes easier and easier to stick with your regimen,
That's right.
And obviously vice versa. You're I don't know, one of the things
it's like
that
a domino effect.
That's
you
right.
kick one domino over, and then the next one, and then the next one, and pretty soon you're like, let me use the app that scans all my food at the store. My wife has this Yucca app thing that she uses all the time. She's like, oh, we shouldn't eat these. We shouldn't eat these. Oh, these are green. These are a 51 out of 100, but they're not the 49 out of 100, so they're green, so they're a little better for us, And you start to say, oh, I should eat more healthy, veggies and colors and, or roots and potatoes with colored purple potatoes, and the vitamins and the nutrients that go into your body. And also the output that you're getting. Water is essential, right? And I don't even want to put anything in my water. I just want to drink water, because when I'm sweating at the gym or I'm going to be working out.
That's the best gift in the world. The best gift
100%.
in the world is good cold water.
Exactly.
I have a bunch of my friends throughout the years that basically came to me and it's like, man, I actually want to start getting in shape. Where should I start? And kind of help them out on the side. And I always find that the guys that struggles the most are the binary guys, who they're like, listen, if I don't do it extremely intensely from the get-go, and I don't jump right into 5-6 times a week, I don't even want to do it. For them, it's like a failure right away. And the problem is they never go through this on-ramp of habit forming. And the on-ramp of habit forming is the hardest part. The problem is again, with Instagram and this and that, you'll just go and listen to a trainer and they're going to say, here's what I'm doing today. And it's going to look impossible. It's all right, this person is eating extremely well at the moment they wake up. Then they hit the gym 10 times a week or whatever, train twice a day, and you're like, I'm never going to get there. And that's a really bad way to because you'll never start. You'll always quit. So the best way to start, this is what I tell my friends, is you got to start small. And the problem is when people are so focused on results right away, starting small for them, they don't see the value. What's the point in not even doing it to a point where I can change drastically right away?
That's the body dysmorphia that I was talking about.
Yeah, that's right.
Where everybody, I'm okay talking about that. I just want you to know, I have these conversations and other guys are like, I also have that, Rad. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, dude, we're working out in the gym right now to try to better ourselves. And we want to see this quick change overnight, but the change is happening. That's okay. Right. Because like I said, consistency is showing up. Consistency doesn't show up. You're like,
yeah.
How come you say that? I'm like, because you got to show up consistently.
Yeah. Like the I think the best recommendation ever is instead to try to change your body, change your lifestyle. Once you get a hold of your lifestyle, the body will follow. So like start small, because like, you know, habit formed, basically it's a process of conquering one thing at a time. So let's say you talk about food, don't be like, okay, I'm never eating any fries anymore, I'm dropping it. Like it's like you're not gonna do it, like it's too hard.
No.
Like maybe start with one meal a day,
right?
The meal that is the easiest. Be like, you know what, lunchtime is the one that is the least, you know, demanding for me to change. So it's like, all right, don't even start for the full week, start only like Monday to Friday. Like I'm just gonna change this meal at lunchtime and I'll make it, you know, lots of veggies and protein. It's like start there. The rest, do everything the same. Once you're able to do that, and like you kind of score yourself in your head, then you start adding another habit. And you basically go by steps. And the same thing with exercise. And that is the real good way to do it. You can cold turkey it if you want, and maybe you're that person, but the odds of success are so much lower than if you just aim one thing at a time, start incorporating one, you know what, let me work out once this week, just once. It's better than zero, just once, and make it your minimum standard is at least once a week. I promise you, by the time you complete that, you're like, okay, cool, now I'm ready for more. Like your brain just goes into like, okay, I've conquered this, like what's next? And that just makes the on-ramp way easier than just going like, okay, I'm just gonna become a beast tomorrow. Because then you'll let yourself down and it's just not realistic.
That's exactly right. You're exactly right. And I mean, like, there's just nothing more to say except just small increments will turn into the bigger change down the road. You just have to consistently show up for those things. So like you said, it's impossible for me to never want to eat poutine. Okay. Right. So don't ever ask me to like get rid of poutine in my life. Okay. But maybe I don't need it 5 times a week.
That's right.
Okay. Maybe I could just have it like once a week and make it a special occasion, like as a goal that I reached. And so now maybe I'll have a bowl of poutine at my favorite place up here, Locals Bistro. Give you a shout out, Locals here in Sandy, Utah. Okay, they make it Canadian nachos. You know, it's so good. Mm-hmm. But again, that's the problem. It's so good. It's deep fried. It's got cheese. It's got gravy. It's got, you know, more cheese. I want some.
That's normal, man. I have my pet peeves too. You know, it's like, you know, the cheese for me actually is kind of my, you know, it's the last thing. And like, again, I fall off my own wagon constantly, but like, you know, I never fall off as bad as I used to once fall off.
Sure.
You know? So it's like, okay, I messed up a little bit here, but then once you master this on-ramp, you basically are always able to come back to your good habits without like feeling like you're giving up. So like you just don't have those bottoms anymore where you just completely quit, because you understand that like your on-ramp is always part of the process, and by the time you kind of indulged a little more, you come back and you just like, you know, rectify the course of action, and you're starting to have more consistency, and consistency is the answer.
That's right, because it's hard to kick butter to the curb, you know, and I seem to have done that pretty well. I think it gets into my food sometimes and I don't realize it, but I'm not applying it onto my food, right? I think that's where the difference is for me, because otherwise I'll be like taking the whole thing and give me some butter on a piece of bread, or like, you know, Jack's down there just listening to us and nodding along like it's true. It's like, these are vices that, you know, my mom and dad fed me when I was baby rad. I didn't have a choice to eat bacon. I didn't have a choice to eat sausage. My mom and dad, lovingly enough, fed me as a baby and said, have some bacon, have some cheese, have some bread and butter. And so as I grow up, I'm like addicted to bacon, cheese, bread and butter. And not knowingly trying to hurt me, but I am like, I don't eat bacon, I don't eat pig. And people are like, why? And I'm like, well, because I don't need to. Like, I don't have to. I don't have to have that. You know, why do I have to have what's in the grocery store? Like, where did all that food come from in the grocery store? Why is their brand next to this brand? Because when you go to a trade show and you go as the grocery store buyer to the grocery store vendor, you're getting swooned at the strip club to buy all of their chicken for that section of your store. It doesn't matter if it's like the best chicken, it's just you got taken care of and swooned and you got pimped out at the convention, so you're gonna buy that homie's stuff. And then you're gonna put that in your store and sell it and say, this is what you want. Yeah, you know, triple antibiotic, fully steroid, this, that, and the other thing. That's what you want right here. But it's not, so I just make a conscious effort of what I'm choosing at the store. That's what I'm saying. Like you said, I check my food more and more. Now, I know this isn't like a dietitian podcast that we're trying to get onto. We're trying to talk about, you know, join FightCamp, where you have this system that allows you to track your exercise regimen, and it's a martial arts / boxing environment, and the healthy lifestyle of eating better goes along with your product, right? And that's where, if you've just joined us, we've gotten into is healthy eating, healthy living, still being able to party and having a good time, but do it in moderation. Okay, and I know people that stop drinking dark beer because they feel like it's full of calories, so they drink like a vodka, and I'm like, I scratch my head. I'm just like, okay, it's clear, right? Because it's clear, you know. But again, choose wisely. It's your life. You only have this one that is in this body that we know of. Someone could prove me wrong. I'd like to meet that. Comment down below if you've lived a couple different lives. But again, join FightCamp.com should just be where you go check out this interactive system, you know, and us here at SOFREP are excited to check that system out and, you know, have you on the show. I was really stoked to have you come on, and I feel like, you know, you guys know I love boxing so much, and it's just a great, you know, conversation to have about boxing and breakdancing, bro. Let's go, dude. And for those of you watching, that's my move, okay? It's my go-to. And again, if you're in the age range of like 30 to 50 and you know that you should be walking around your block, you know that you should be getting on and doing alternate push-ups. If you can't do a full push-up, use your knees. It's okay. If you know that your heart has plaque buildup in the Widowmaker and you're tired of taking so many pills, if you know that you are dealing with this mental block in your head and you want to break through that, I would say give boxing, martial arts, and, you know, the FightCamp model a try in your daily life, right? Just go be active, whether you're out there snowboarding or you're out there, you're boxing, or you're out there and you're golfing. You know, something about working out, swimming, being surrounded by the water, those are all positive things, and I'm all about being positive in this life that we live. And so, you know, Khalil, you're great, bro, and I'd love to have you back on the show and talking more about inspiring boxing techniques and more with your system that you're going to put out there, and I'd love to see it integrated into places like My Legends Boxing here in Salt Lake City. There's multiple, I don't know, hey, Rob Scott, reach out to Khalil, bro. You know, Rob runs the whole Legends organization, you know, and he's teamed up with the money as well with Floyd Mayweather. And so, I mean, you know, if Floyd Mayweather and Mike Tyson and Monsieur St. Pierre has, you know, teamed up with you, bro, you know, and here we are at SOFREP teaming up with you, my listener, my viewer, please team up with us and go check out the joinfightcamp.com mission and see if it's the right platform for you in your home. You don't have to be nervous about going to the gym. If you're post-pandemic kind of nervous about getting somebody's sickness, which I probably have, I blame the gym. I'm like, why am I sick today? I'm like, oh yeah, we forgot about COVID. You know, it's like, it's true. I think that you have a great product. And I don't want to make this sound like it's just a commercial pitch, but dude, if your life matters, then go check out, you know, working out and check out the FightCamp.com system. And do you have anything else to say, Khalil, to us?
No, you know, thanks for having me. You know, we have like a very strong community of veterans and military people in our customer base. It's a form of workout that resonates obviously greatly with their training, as well as just, you know, gives them the intensity that they want. So, you know, super happy to partner up with SOFREP here, and, you know, yeah, let me know anything that I can be helpful with. You know, we're about making the world a healthier place. So.
I love that. I love that. And Jack, you look great. I just want to say, man, thank you for also being a part of this, and thanks for reaching out to us and linking us up all together to have this episode. It makes me happy to talk about boxing and mental health and eating right. And I'm not the most perfect person, Jack, at doing that, but I strive for perfection at doing that.
Well, you're the man. Thanks for having us, and you're a kick-ass host. So keep doing what you're doing, man.
Well, thank you so much. And again, Khalil, great to have you on the show, and Jack. And again, it's joinfightcamp.com. Go check that out. Tell them Rad sent you. And there's an email there. I think the contact us support says Jack's name there. So, I mean, these guys are as real as it gets. If you have questions and you want to know more, check it out. Go check it out. And this is Rad saying check out the SOFREP Book Club. Check out our merch store. Again, check out FightCamp.com, which will be listed down below this podcast. So you can just click on it. And again, thank you to my listener and my viewer that pays attention to this and that writes to us. And we love those letters. Just received one from a general saying thank you for, the last episode I did about, taking care and being a caregiver for those wounded. And, like my mom took care of my dad. And I just want to say thanks to Jim for the letter and the book. And to all of you out there, take care of yourself. Brandon Webb, the guy that makes this show run, Callum, my producer, Khalil, Jack Good, joinfightcamp.com. This is Rad saying peace.
You've been listening to SOFREP Radio.